Hello, fellow YouTubers, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. On the last episode, we began the final day of an investigation by pretty much just talking with Emma all day, finding a little bit more information about the SL9 incident, like how she was actually an attempted victim at the thing, but Marshall saved her at the cost of his own life, and that she only remembers she remembers a certain vision that she hasn't really been able to explain to us. She did draw something, but she also mentioned that Lana was a detective once before, which I think we knew. I hope we knew, but Phoenix didn't because he's completely brain dead at this moment. But on this episode, we're going to be heading over to the detention center, and we're going to be talking with Lana. And I have the hiccups. It's not a good start, especially when I have to talk everything. All right, so let's move over to the detention center. To everyone's favorite chief prosecutor. Lana. Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about that unusual change of jobs. I suppose you have the right to know, Mr. Wright. Why did she go over to the prosecutor's office? Although, we should probably find out a little bit more about the giant bombshell she dropped in today's trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana! What the witness, the star, said! About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife! Lana, I don't understand! Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. What was up with the sound there? It, like, faded out and then faded back in. Alright, so what exactly is going on? Especially around her. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! Oh, what a nice switch of character, Emma. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? Oh, for love of... Come on, Phoenix. Then he was the vice head of the criminal... Oh, that's Lana. Then he was the vice head of criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever! They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed! Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now that you're chief prosecutor, what happened? Oh, now you're chief well, whatever. I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was... to gain experience from investigating crime scenes, so you could later use that experience in court. Gant's help in the SL9 case was critical in its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Also, straight to chief prosecutor and you never were one? That seems kind of odd. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the chief detective was, no doubt, Damon Gant. Yes, Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office? We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case was Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Okay, so she was the first one at the scene of the crime. That doesn't help us at all. In fact, it kind of screws us over a little bit. Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall was the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. They don't lock the door? I thought they locked the door. Maybe I've seen too many crime shows. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself. I can't say the word detective anymore. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out. Oh, that's Phoenix! That's Phoenix. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seemed Mr. Marshall stuck in final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. No, after all her sister must have gone through. I thought I was going to continue there a little bit. Curse me and my reading too fast. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago! At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Em was assaulted by Dark at that police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gantt now occupies by himself. The Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Like he's gonna let us. No, maybe he will. I mean, he let us examine the crime scene at the evidence room. So, actually, you know what? Let's, I mean, it's 10 minutes right now. Let's do something very quick. We're gonna move over to, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's call it here. Because that wouldn't be right to move right now. So, what did we find out? we found out that Lana was the first one on the scene, and that Marshall, they were all unconscious. Also found out that Gantt was also a detective 2 years ago. Well, he was vice head of criminal affairs, and then because of that trial, Gantt was promoted to chief of police, and Lana was promoted over to chief prosecutor. So something's up with that. That seems too convenient, along with everyone in that trial being involved in this trial as well. So, on the next episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, we're gonna make our way over to the police department to see if we can go investigate the crime scene from 2 years ago. Maybe we can get permission from the chieftain to basically tear apart his office. So, until next time, hopefully you enjoy this, which is... Oh, maybe I need to electrify that thing. Whenever I eventually learn the magic attack for electric. Here's a blue one, so I can't do that. No, wait, what am I saying? I can't blue. I have the blue ability. What am I doing? I didn't immediately pass by it. It's like, oh, I can't do anything with that yet. Like, I've only had blue since the beginning.